like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under.
In the South Bronx, there are countless dreamy kids who'd love to go to a game at Yankee Stadium. Many don't even own their own glove or bat, and most of them could never afford to go to a game in that stadium. This is a story that speaks to the soul of every kid living in inner-city America searching for a mentor. Whether it's Chicago, Los Angeles, or the 1970s South Bronx, there are misdirected kids starving for guidance and struggling to understand their existence in what at times may seem like a hopeless, helpless world filled with broken promises and no place to turn. Oppression remains bell clear in cities across this country, with no relief in sight. And if you've ever felt bullied or made to feel like you're worthless instead of equal, this story might ring a specific emotion. Ray Negron is a guy you probably never heard of, who growing up evolved out of the rubble in what was once described as the war zone and unforgiving mean streets of New York City's South Bronx, which in this case was a place littered with crime, violence, and abandoned buildings marking the streets.
You ever hear the saying, yo, you can't make this up? You know, it's that story.
Ray became a juvenile delinquent.
And of all the people in the world to collide with Ray's 48 years ago, it was a man you might least likely suspect. His reputation in Major League Baseball now reads, the manager-firing, player-baiting, and headline-making controversial man they called the boss. George M. Steinbrenner III, owner of the New York Yankees.
Give me the can. I won't let you down.
Glass everywhere, people pissing on the stage.
You can't change these people, George.
Can't take the smell, can't take the noise. Got no money to move out, I guess I got no choice. Rats in the front room, roaches in the back, junkies in the alley with the baseball bat.
He had me arrested, and then within the course of 20 minutes, he came back.
And from that moment on, Ray had touched the lives of so many.
Took me to the Yankee locker room. They gave me a uniform. And that night, I was the bat boy for the New York Yankees.
Hey, kid, if I had my way, you wouldn't be here.
Where's Mr. Steinbrenner?
Don't worry about that. I'm in charge here.
Of all the people in the house, 6 were boys. And of the 6 boys, I'm the last man standing. I find that incredible.
Oh, this is way more than just a story about baseball. How did this graffiti painting kid from the streets of the South Bronx burning down become the special assistant to arguably one of the most iconic sports figures in all of sports, New York Yankees owner George M. Steinbrenner III?
Hey, Dad, I want a Go phone.
Let me sleep on it.
It has unlimited talk and text.
Let me sleep on it.
And no surprise bill.
I can't take it any longer, son. I'm crazy. You ask about the Go phone every night and day. As long as there's no surprise bills to pay, we're gonna go get you a Go phone today. 'Cause I love you to the end of time. I swear I love you to the end of time.
Then we'll go and get you a Go phone tonight, and we'll see paradise by the Go phone night.
Yeah! All right. It felt so good, it never felt so right. Gonna get my son a Go phone tonight. Never felt so good, it never felt so right. Gonna get my son a Go phone tonight. It never felt so good, it never felt so right. Gonna get my son a Go phone tonight. Hello, Milwaukee. All right. Yeah! Gonna get a Go phone tonight. Yeah.
Hey,
Hey.
Stephanie.
Good to see you.
Hey, we're almost wearing the same colors.
Almost. We like to try to twin it up sometimes on this show.
That's right. That's right. We don't talk to each other for a couple of days, but we just kind of almost wear the same clothes.
We're synced.
We're synced. Well, this is Kick Unhealthy Relationships to the Curb. We're here every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's our beautiful guest that's going to join us in a few moments. And Stephanie is our lovely co-host, and she's an author as well. But before we get into all that, that documentary that you saw, that was our very own Carmine reenacting Ray Negron back in the day.
I loved it, and I loved. It's just such a great, powerful story, and so I was thinking as I was watching it how glad I am that you shared that, because it really is inspiring for those kids who feel like they can't be more than what they started out as, and to see how far that Ray has come, based on where he started from, is just amazing.
Almost 50 years being part of the Yankees, and him and I met several years ago on the campus of Suffolk Community College. It was even at Yankee Stadium. That's a long story. I'll save it for another day. But I want to bring Carmine now, a great engineer here, because he is a great actor, and he's the mastermind behind playing Little Ray. Carmine, can you join us for a few moments here?
Are you going to make him come out and show his face? I mean, he does all this acting. Do you want to come out, Carmine?
When celebrities only come out when they want to come out. He's a little bit of a diva. But Carmine, how's it going?
It's going good. Thank you for having me on, guys. I'm still the man of Oz hiding behind the curtain here, but thank you for having me on to talk about the documentary. It's really a joy. The story, really, Stephanie, thank you. The story of second chances is really amazing. How Ray was put in this unfortunate situation and turned out to be this amazing human being afterwards, and just impacting so many other human beings from what happened. It's just a pure joy to be able to show that and spread that to people. And Bill has hundreds of hours put into this documentary, and we're going to film about Thurman Munson coming up, a scene involving him and before he passed away. So, make sure you stay tuned for that.
Now, Carmine, you're a wonderful actor, but how do you cry on the spot? Is that hard for you?
Wow. Yeah, that was a very difficult process for me in evolving my acting. In school, we had a few techniques such as Meisner to go about it with emotional prep, and it was something that I struggled with, and I couldn't do it right away. And it was something that I had to just keep practicing on my own and do it without the cameras being on in front of me, to eventually get to the point of just being confident in my ability to do it and do it on screen. So yeah, that's a good question. Great question.
Yeah.
Carmine, are you going to school to become an actor? Is that something that you've got under your belt?
I did. I actually graduated from a school called the New York Conservatory from Dramatic Arts.
Wow. Wow. I am super impressed. I had no idea.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you. Yeah, now I'm pursuing acting. Yes.
Yeah, but Stephanie, he has a lifetime contract at Chapters. It runs out 35 years.
He's never allowed to leave us.
He can't leave. And if he does act, we get 50%. You and I get 50%,
All right, cool. We're good.
Is that it, Carmine?
Yeah, that's how we have it signed in the contract. So I'm tied in for life. So we don't have to worry about it anyway. So that's it.
Just in case you forgot, Carmine, I have the contract right here.
As you always do, every day at work always brings it in front of me. So
that's right. I remind you that you can never leave. Okay, so enough of this stuff. You got work to do. Stephanie and I have work to do. So Carmine, thank you so very much, and I can't wait till that documentary comes out.
No, thank you guys, and please keep looking forward to it.
Yes, great work, Carmine.
When is that coming out, Steve?
It's coming out in a couple of months. Bill O'Connell, who's a professor over at Suffolk Community College, is putting an unbelievable work together. I mean, this is like a lifelong work, a creation that he's creating with Bat Boy, capturing Ray's story, because he not only works with the Yankees, Ray, for almost 50 years. He's written 5 books, best-selling books. He's been in movies. He's mentoring so many people. But more importantly, how I connected with him is the charitable efforts that him and I do together, and in the Bronx and abroad. And he's just a wonderful guy, and we love him very much. And him and I do a show called Reach Out with Ray and Steve every Monday. We used to do it at Village Connection, and our guest today had a show on Village Connection in Huntington, we kind of crossed paths a little bit. It was after that one show that you and I did, Stephanie, and then you said, I can't work with this guy, in person. I got to move almost to the West Coast, but I still want to do the show. But that's what we do from Texas. You are now.
It's amazing, though, how one thing leads us to something else. The fact that you met Ray whatever amount of years ago, and then that brought you into you're also acting in Bat Boy as well, right?
Yeah.
And so all these people being brought together because of Ray's story, and had you not met him, who knows how things would have progressed.
That's right. And I actually produced the show for the last couple of years, and then hit by the pandemic. So, but all the revenue that comes in from the show, we give it back to nonprofits or families in need. So again, it's just another platform to pay it forward to others. And our next show is April 5th at the Yogi Berra Museum, which is in New Jersey. And we do a lot of work with ALS. So don't be surprised that we're going to support some local groups there in New Jersey at Yogi Berra Museum. We did 2 shows there already. So we want to thank Joni over there for setting everything up. And it's been wonderful. But we've had a moment. I have to share this a little bit because we're going to show a picture of me, you, Lowe's Moore, and Denzel Washington. When this moment occurred, man, what were you thinking? I mean, we're all laughing together. This is Denzel Washington. What are your thoughts there, Steph?
Oh my gosh, that's going to be on the books as a pretty cool moment in my life, to be able to actually have interviewed Denzel Washington and to laugh with him. He was kind of joking around that I didn't have much of an accent, a Southern accent. And I reminded him, I told him that I was from New York, so I had not really gotten the Southern drawl just yet. But, he was just such a laid back, nice guy, regular human being that was just there to help and answer questions. And he really did. What I noticed about him, and tell me what you think, because I think you were there for a lot of his interviews that he did that day. But he genuinely wanted to lean in and answer questions that people had. Like, he was really listening and really, really thinking about what he wanted to say that was really going to give impact to the people that were asking the questions.
Right. And I love it, Stephanie. You got right to the point. You went right in there. You didn't get starstruck. You went into the work that you did, and you connected with him and the work that his wife does. And he really connected with you so fast. That was probably one of the highlights of my career too, of having you do that and being part of that and seeing how he connected. I mean, we're talking about Denzel Washington here.
No joke. I mean, seriously, the fact that you get to be on Chapters Wrap and meet Denzel Washington. I mean, again, I didn't know that he was someone that I wanted to meet, but it was really cool to be able to have that experience and be able to say that we got to, hang out with him, for that, share space with him in that little bit of time. And, I think it's just another reminder. He's a perfect reminder. You said I wasn't starstruck. It was definitely, I was a little bit nervous, but I mean, I think for all of us, we have to keep reminding ourselves, we're all just human. And I think as him and I started talking, it was he's just another guy doing his thing, and just happens to be someone who's done a whole bunch of really awesome movies, but he's just another person like the rest of us trying to figure it out. And that's all any of us are trying to do. So to be able to listen to each other and help each other, he's a good example of what it's like to give back to the community and be supportive of other people's work.
That's right. That's right. While we're talking about your work, why don't you share a little bit about your book to our new viewers out there?
Well, my book, Being Loved Shouldn't Hurt, is all about helping people learn to thrive after ending the cycle of unhealthy relationships. The purpose of my book was really to help other successful women that get stuck in that trap of trying to make everybody else happy, trying to people please, losing ourselves in relationships, letting them know that they do not have to get stuck in those types of situations, and they too can actually heal and start the process of learning to thrive after unhealthy relationships. So I have a book and a workbook. They're both available on Amazon. So if you have not yet been able to purchase it, definitely jump over to Amazon and, purchase it. If it's not for you, then maybe for a friend who might need a reminder that they don't have to stay stuck like this. Something else is out there and better for them.
That's right. We started the show off another commercial, GoPhone. It was a spoof on Paradise by the Dashboard Lights by Meatloaf. Were you a Meatloaf fan?
I remember when I was younger saying that I was not a fan, but I'm going to tell you that when I heard that he passed away, I definitely had a little of a tear, because he was part of my upbringing. I mean, everyone listened to Meatloaf when we were in high school. At least I did, and my friends did. And, you know, he had made a comeback because he had all these things happen to him. I want to say didn't he spend some time in jail? I mean, he had some things go on. And then right at the end of the 90s, he started a major comeback. And then he was in Fight Club. And then he showed up in a few other shows. I mean, he really did some good changes in his life. And a lot of people were inspired by him.
Yeah, I saw him in concert a couple of times. I mean, very theatrical. He was in Rocky Horror Picture Show. Did you ever see Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Yes.
In the theater or on TV?
No, just on video.
Oh, I saw it in the theater. Let me tell you, that was some experience because it always started at midnight in the movie theater, and you had to bring bread for a toast. You had to wear raincoats. You had to bring an umbrella, and you had to bring water with you because every time it was like a cult film. Every time they would say something in the movie, you had to act it out in the theater. It was always sold out. I saw it maybe 5 or 6 times, and Meatloaf got his theatrical.
Did you wear the same outfits as they did?
Yeah. I mean, I wear a raincoat, and I didn't bring all the stuff, but the people I'm with, they were really into it, and it was so much fun. But he also, you talk about ready to go with the Yankees. He had that song, Paradise by the Dashboard Lights, and I want to show a little clip because the great Phil Rizzuto had a little segment, Stardom, with Meatloaf. Let's check it out a little bit.
Okay, here we go. We got a real pressure cooker going here. 2 down, nobody on, no score, bottom of the ninth. There's the windup, and there it is, a line shot up the middle. Look at him go. This boy can really fly. He's rounding first and really turning it on now. He's not letting up at all. He's going to drive to second. The ball is bobbled out center, and here comes the throw, and what a throw. He's going to slide in head first. Here he comes. He's out. No, wait, safe at second base. This kid really makes things happen out there. Matter steps up to the plate. Here's the pitch, and he's going, and what a jump he's got. He's trying the third. Here's the throw. It's in the dirt. Safe at third. Holy cow, stolen base. Taking a pretty big lead out there, almost daring him to try and pick him off. Pitcher glances over, winds up, and it's bunted down the third base line. The suicide squeeze is on. Here he comes. Squeeze play is going to be close. Here's the throw. Here's the play at the plate. Holy cow.
A little risque, but that was Meatloaf acting out, one of the classic rock songs of all time. He was voted by Billboard magazine as one of the top 100 rock performers of all time. So it's a great loss, and his music will live on and on and on.
Yeah, and I think he's another one. I mean, I feel like we've lost some great people lately. I mean, it's just kind of, I feel like it started with Betty White, and then we've had 4 or 5 losses of some major stars. And it is just kind of nice to hear that he was with his family when he passed. He was another one that was with his family. And Betty White, the night that she died, she actually said she wanted to be with her husband. And
Right.
she was listening to music and then passed away that night. And so I think, again, that's one of the best things to be is with your family.
Yeah, and on Long Island, I try to make this not a sports show, but we lost Clark Gillies, who was the captain of the Islanders for 4 straight Stanley Cups, 80, 81, 82, and 83. And not only was he a great hockey player, he did so much for the Long Island community in such a big way. And he will sorely be missed to all Islander fans, but he gave back. I actually met him at the Viscardi Center. What a class act. What a way to give back. And he did it on and off the ice for so many years. And he passed away, and we love all the work at the Viscardi Center. I also had a couple of unfortunate within the network here. Evan Schneider, one of our engineers, his father passed away, and unfortunately, he was very ill. Evan is right next to me on my right, and beautiful family. His father passed away. He was a dentist in the community in Long Island, and beautiful service. The family spoke from the heart. It was very, very sad. So on behalf of the entire network, Evan, we love you very, very much. And we all can't wait for you to get back. And if there's anything we can do, please reach out to us. Another person that I started this whole media campaign and journey 10 years ago, Portia Ingram, was my first co-host ever on my first show. And Portia, amazing talent. She's an author. She's been on our show before. Her brother of 31 years old, Barry Ingram, passed away as well. I want to tell you, that service I went to on Friday, it was the most heartbreaking service I think I've ever attended because of who he was, the future this young man had and the connection he had with Portia Ingram, one of my dear friends in life. And it's very devastating when you see a person to pass away at such a young age, and in the front row of the wake, you see his grandmother, his mother, and his wife. Sometimes life is very hard, and we have to push through it. And we should never take anything for granted. We should always tell the people that we love and never hold grudges. I mean, life is too short now to hold grudges. And if you're in an unhealthy relationship, unhealthy situation, you could change that in a heartbeat, and just have to reach out to people like Stephanie and myself or other clinicians out there, because life is fast.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I mean, my son just turned 6 on Saturday, and I mean, you say life is fast. It's like I'm looking at pictures, and it's like yesterday that he was born, and here we are, with a 6-year-old. And so it's just that reminder that it is so precious. We do have to hold on to that time that we have, because it does fly by.
And I kind of know the feeling. My daughters, get this, you sitting down, are 28 and 27. I know I look like I'm 28 or 27, but they're 28 and 27. And it goes fast,
I can't. Yeah. I mean, I was thinking about this the other day. I think it was yesterday. I was thinking about how, if everything goes the way we hope, someday, my husband will be, dancing with his daughter at her wedding if she decides to get married, and it's just one of those things that it'll get there. It'll get there quickly, and hopefully we're both there to experience it and see there and support her. But, and actually this is actually something I'll share too, is that my son, before he turned 6, he was kind of regressing a little bit, asking for me to do things that he can do by himself. And so I said, sweetheart, what's the matter? Are you afraid or uncomfortable turning 6? And he said, well, if I get older, that means you're getting older. And then that means that you're going to pass away. And I don't want you to pass away. So I just want to stay young. And I said, but we don't want you to stay young. Getting older is part of life. It's part of what it is. We want you to get older and grow up and experience all the wonderful things in life. And mommy and daddy will always be there for you in your heart, no matter what happens. But a little heartbreaking. We'll have a conversation to have, with a new 6-year-old, is that concern that he has for the future. And I think this pandemic you kind of can't shield kids from this stuff, because it's happening. And, we're not a family that doesn't talk about hard things. So, he is aware that those things can happen.
I remember real quick, because we got to move this show along, but after 9/11, my oldest daughter, Giovanna, we were living in Maryland at the time, and I did work in Washington, D.C. And after 9/11, all the schools was shut down, and they shut down all the airports. And when it opened up again, her and I, G and I, were sitting on the front porch, and we saw a plane go by, and she said, "Daddy, what does hijack mean?" And I knew, and she was 6 or 7 years old, and I'm thinking to myself, do I really have to explain to my daughter what hijack means, and how do you do that? And I think this pandemic has taught us that we really have to connect with our youth, because if we don't, family and not family, things are going to happen. We lost 2 police officers here in New York City in a drop of a moment, in a New York minute. 22 and 27 years old. The service is going to be at St. Patrick's Cathedral. It's really rocked the core of New York City and the whole police force. That's Jason Rivera, but the service is tomorrow at St. Patrick's Cathedral. And Officer Mora, who also just passed away yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's a sad time in the world, and it shows like this that we have to continue to connect with people. And our guest tonight, we're so thankful that Helen Cernigli-Arrow is going to be on our show in a few moments. I want to read a little bio about her, so pop her picture up on there. With over 20 years experience as a certified coach, Helen is laser focused to help her clients believe in themselves, to hold them accountable and accomplish their goals. In conjunction with over 30 years of law of attraction practitioner, the positive can-do attitude has helped Helen to become ahead of the game in positive thinking. Helen has owned a number of small businesses before she decided coaching, mentoring, and motivational speaking was her true path. Once she decided to go for it, she committed to her new calling and never look back. Helen, if you'd be kind enough to join Stephanie and I, thank you so very much for joining us here on Kick on Healthy Relationship to the Curb.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me. It is a pleasure. And Stephanie, I love the color you're wearing, dear. Because this, I don't know why, I always look sepia toned, but it's the color you got tonight. But thank you very much for having me.
It cracks me up when that happens. It just shows that there's like this thread that brings us all together.
Yes, absolutely.
I'll say, okay, so Helen, you compliment Stephanie and her color, but you don't like my color so much. I got you.
No, I love that color. It's beautiful. I absolutely love it. Sorry.
There we go. But Helen,
don't worry, Steve. We'll pet him. It'll be okay. It's okay, Steve.
There we go. You guys show me some love every now and then, Stephanie.
Absolutely. It's a good color for you, actually. It goes with your hair. So
Oh,
now
there
I'm sucking up. So
There you
good job,
go.
Helen.
See,
Good job.
the old backtrack. That's good. I like that. But, Helen, we've become fast friends already, and you are doing amazing things. And we were 2 or 3 ships in the wind because Stephanie and I did our first show at Village Connection. I think when we were walking out, you were walking onto the set. Talk about why it's important for you to have a microphone or a camera in front of you to help people in that way.
Well, aside from the fact that I can be a really great ham and I'm so shy, as you can tell within seconds, is I want to spread the word about choices, about positivity, about we have a choice in everything we do. And a lot of people, they're not really aware of that. And when I make them aware of it, that it's a matter of perception and it's a matter of mindset, things start to change. And that's very, very important to me. I'm going to make a short story long, but last year, it's 2022. No, in 2020, I was diagnosed with breast cancer among COVID and being by myself because my family couldn't fly in to be with me. And I had a core 4 of very dear friends that helped to look after me. But for the most part, I went to the chemo, radiation, my hair fell out. That's why my picture is different because I have short hair right now. It all grew back. I was bald as a billiard ball for quite some time. But the thing is when I decided, when I got it, I decided that I was going to sail through all the treatments. I was going to do well with all of it. And it was my mindset that said, I am going to do this. I've got this. And the thing I do want to say before I go any further when I explain that is that was my journey. That was what that's what happened with me. But I talk about breast cancer and dealing with it and just about people realizing that they have a choice in everything they do, from what you wear in the morning, what you're going to do, how your day is going to go. I wake up every morning and I say thank you. Even before I get out of bed, I say thank you. I don't get into a whole long litany of things, but I do say affirmations during the day. But I say thank you. I'm grateful. And a lot of people, there's so much going on in the world. And to stay positive, it's hard. It takes effort, but yet sometimes I bring it down to the very basic gratitude of we've got food on the table. We've got a roof over our head. Look what we're doing right now. We're sitting here having a Zoom. No, not Zoom. A
StreamYard.
Oops. StreamYard meeting. And it's all good. And I'm not talking about being a village idiot where you're smiling and everything's like, everything's good. But yet, when something happens to you, you have the choice of how you're going to respond and how you're going to react to it. We're all human. We're all allowed to get mad. And I get mad easily, but I take a step back and say, what am I supposed to learn? What's my lesson? What's my blessing? What am I supposed to let people know about? And the thing I want to let people know is we have a choice in everything we do, how we respond, how we act, and it makes a difference. But a lot of people don't realize it takes effort. I never say work, I say effort. I never say problem, I say effort or challenge. No, right. I say no, challenge or issue. But that's my story.
Stephanie, what do you think of Helen?
Well, I mean, I 100% agree that that's one of the things that we can do is we can choose to live in the pain of our story, or we can take that story and create beautiful, possibilities with it by sharing it with others to inspire them to get out of that stinking thinking that so many people have gotten stuck in. Because we all get there. It's not like, everything is perfect all the time, like you said, but we don't have to live there. You feel it and then you move on and you don't live there. And that's where I think a lot of people get stuck is, they're wondering about how can I forgive something that happened to me that was so terrible? And the thing is, we're not forgiving the other person or the event that happened. We're forgiving ourselves for how we reacted to it, or maybe staying stuck in there for so long, or wasting time, or whatever it might be. And that's where the freedom lies, is the freedom of choice and how to react to whatever happens to us.
Well, what I think is once we realize that we're not perfect and nobody else is perfect, it kind of gives us a little bit of leeway, because I think we expect, I'm so interested. I'm going to get your book, by the way, because I really want to read all about it, because I think we all expect our relationships to be perfect without telling the other person what we want and not really communicating. Now I'm letting you take that from there, but right? I mean, isn't that true? And
oh yeah, and one of the things that I work with my clients is that because people have been so traumatized and hurt in the past, they're looking to get into new relationships, but they're not allowing themselves to be vulnerable. They're not communicating their wants and needs. And so if we're going to get into a healthy relationship in the future, we've got to start getting ourselves out of our own way and learn how to communicate. People are not mind readers. We can't expect anyone to know exactly what we want. I mean, my husband and I are more on target with each other than anyone I've ever met. And the times we have problems is when one of us thinks the other one just knows what the other one wants or needs. We have to be really specific with what we need, what we want. If we're hurt by something, let people know that. But we also got to get clear on who we are before we can actually really do that, I think.
Right.
I have a question, is how do you make people willing to be vulnerable? How do you do that?
Well, that's a great question. I don't think you can make anyone be vulnerable, but I think that when you start, when I work with clients, actually, I have a group program, an online group program. And one of the hardest things that people have to start off in the program is to actually share what they're thinking in the group. So that's vulnerability, because they don't trust anybody. And so they say, oh, I'm someone that doesn't share. I'm someone that doesn't tell anybody what's going on. And so I'll call them out on it and say, well, how's that working out for you? How has that been going? You have been having this giant wall up for how long now? And how are your relationships been? How have you been showing up to relationships? So I remind them part of healing with me is every single part of the program has a reason for it. And one of them is starting to share little bits and pieces of what's going on for ourselves in that group. We call it the inner circle, in that group, which starts to give them the confidence, because as they do it every day, now they're starting to feel better about themselves. Like, oh, hey, I'm following through with what I said I was going to do. I'm being vulnerable with people that are accepting. They're not judging me. They're making me feel good about what's going on. They're supporting me. So then that adds to it. Then they start sharing more, and then they're getting more support. And it just is like a snowball and builds. But I think there's got to be that first step that's willing to be made in order to start moving in the direction of sharing your vulnerability and increasing your self-esteem to feel like you deserve to be heard.
This is Kick on Healthy Relationship with the Curb. That's Stephanie McPhail. I'm psychologist Steve Vaccaro. And our special guest here, Helen Ciglignaro, is here. And Helen, I got to ask you one question here. You found that you were diagnosed with cancer a couple years ago. Did you feel like, why me? Or did you think you were going to shut things down? Or did you have that positive attitude, positive way of thinking throughout that time?
When I first found out, it was definitely why me, and I was angry and thinking, WTF, why? And with that, because I'm a law of attraction practitioner, I kind of thought, okay, all right, okay, you can't go through treatments like this. You can't do, you just can't. I have to pull a pivot, what I call a pivot. And I said, well, what's my lesson? What's my blessing? What am I supposed to learn from this? And believe it or not, I believe it's one of the best things that ever happened to me. I don't worry so much anymore. I still get mad, but I don't stay there. And when I do get mad, it's like, what's the lesson? What's the blessing? But initially, yeah, it was like, yeah, why me? Why? Of course, because I didn't do it. I asked my surgeon, I said, well, what causes this? She said it could be genetics. It said it could be your eating habits. It could be water you drink. It could be your environment. There are so many things. And basically, she just kind of, I don't know. Okay. But yeah, I did get mad. And I think it was a healthy thing to get mad, because I have heard of some people that find out they have cancer. They go to bed, they pull the covers over their heads, and that's it. And that was not going to me. I did decide from the get-go when I found out, I got my mads out, I got my anger out. Then I said, let's get on with it. Let's go. Just let's go.
And that's such a blessing, because you're on a couple of shows here. Cop and Crew, No Holds Barred morning show, 17 Seconds, Paradigm Chimes, the Mix, Long Island, New York. I mean, these shows, why do you feel the need to have a platform to get that word out? And how do you see life now during this pandemic? I believe that we are so divided as a country and so polarized right now. How do we go about bringing people together?
Respect one another's opinions, first of all, and not say, well, if you voted for this person or you voted for that person, I'm never going to talk to you again. I respect what other people, who they voted for and things like that. But my platform is, I just want to get it out that people have a choice in how they live their lives. They can change. The thing is a lot of people, I might get in a little bit of trouble with this, but people want that. They want the change like that. And it doesn't happen that way. It takes effort. It takes time. It takes little steps. Over the course of 2 years, I lost a great deal of weight. And whenever I'd see friends that I hadn't seen in a while, I said, it's not cancer weight. I said, I started eating healthy and I started working out. There's the difference. But the thing is people look at me and say, ooh. I said, no, relax, I'm good. But I just want this platform to let people know that you can change. You can live your best life. You can. You can make the changes that can bring you perhaps not your best life, but then again, why not? Why not? Why not? I feel that too many of us are living in the muck, and we're willing to stay in the muck because we don't want to get out of our comfort zone. And I have Christina Matheson-Segura to thank for introducing me to you, Steve, today. And she was pushing me to get out of my comfort zone. And I have, which I thank the universe for that. I'm always grateful, thank you, God, Goddess, Source, Creator, whatever you want to call it. But when you're ready to do something, in my world, law of attraction world, things start happening. When you make that commitment, things start happening. When you say, I am doing this, as opposed to I'm going to do this, I'm getting into my coaching mode, but I do want the platform of, yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can live a good life, a happy life, a joyful life, a fulfilled life.
That's great. And I got to say this. I'm sorry, Helen. Sure. Christina and I have been friends for a couple of years now, and she does amazing work. She came on a couple of radio shows that I had back in, a couple of years ago. She texted me your number. I had a meeting today at 10 o'clock this morning. I think I called you up 9:45, and the first thing you said, I like this, goes, I'm just going to say everything about me because I know you're probably busy, and blah, blah, blah. You said all these things. So I flipped the script a little bit. I said, oh, yeah? You're going to tell me all these things? I'm going to ask you, can you come on our show today? And you're here. I mean, that feistiness and that passion is so important because the time is now. We have no time. We have to move forward. This is our time to shine. This is our time to promote positivity. Would you agree with that, Helen?
I would agree 100%. And I do want to mention, I do have a podcast called Marie and Helen, and she is my business partner. And we talk about all things law of attraction, thinking about positivity. And she is an absolutely amazing partner. And I did want to mention that because she did wish me luck to come on here tonight. But okay, I forgot the question.
You just jumped right in. Is that part of your personality, is to go for it at this point in life?
Yes and no. If I think too much, the answer will be like, let me think about it. But when you asked me, I didn't even think about it. I said, yes, absolutely. And I think a lot of times when opportunity presents itself, if we think too much about it, we'll walk and we won't do it. So when you said, come on to the show, I said, yes, absolutely. And I thought, okay, wow, look what I just did. And I patted myself on the back. I was thrilled that look what I just did. Not look what I just did, but that I said yes. It's just like, let's do it.
I'll tell you another little story too about Stephanie and I. I was asked, we have a mutual friend, and she asked me she was a couple years back, she told me about this author, Stephanie, that was doing a book presentation at somewhere in Long Island, and would you cover it? And I said, sure. So I covered it. I was interviewing Stephanie, and right after the interview, I knew there was some synergy there. She might not have known it, but I figured it out. And from that day on, we created a show, and we've been doing this for a couple of years now. And she is one of my best friends on this planet because her family and her story is so inspiring. I think you have that same kind of story, Ellen.
Well, I could tell there was a synergy between you two. It was just there, or the energy.
Energy, yes.
Yeah, good energy. And that's how I felt when I was talking on the phone to you. You know, it was a good, positive energy. That's how I felt when I was talking to, when Christina and I are new friends.
Okay.
And she is a breast cancer survivor as well. And the first time we got together, we said we're going to have lunch, and we sat there for 4 hours just chatting away.
Wow.
And also, my business partner Marie is a breast cancer survivor, so we have a lot in common of overcoming the odds, which I think most people can do.
And Stephanie, you work with a lot of women that overcome odds. I mean, when you see that develop, that must bring a lot of satisfaction in the work that you do, but it's also healing to the people that you're working with.
Sure. I mean, that's one of the things. There's so many good nuggets out of everything that both of you were just saying. And, I think that when we start saying yes to things start coming more in our direction. So there's a lot of times we get stuck in analysis paralysis. So we freeze and we overthink instead of just saying yes. And so sometimes we say yes to the wrong things. Sometimes we say yes to the right things. And sometimes as we're practicing, maybe we do more the wrong than the right. But as you start to notice your body and feel it, like I always say, I feel it from my chest. If there's just like, even when I decided to become a coach, I didn't decide to be a coach. Coaching decided that I needed to do it. It's the same thing with my book. I didn't really want to write a book. I was scared. It was too much and overwhelming, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. I was like, fine, I'll write the book. And then the feelings got better. I was like, okay, I got to follow my bliss, if you will. And so that's one of the things is that when you start following where you're being led, where you're being pulled, life gets a heck of a lot easier. So many of us fight against the current, trying to do something that's not the right fit for us, and then feel really frustrated and overwhelmed. And of course, talking about unhealthy relationships, I mean, the unhealthy relationships that we're trying to force, no wonder why we're stressed and overwhelmed. We're trying to force something that's not natural. And if it's hard for us to change, how do we think we're going to change somebody else? So, so just a lot of things of what you're talking about. And of course, when we're talking about breast cancer, we want to make sure that we're keeping ourselves healthy. And I was thinking about you, Helen, and, healthy and overcoming. Have you been able to speak to Jennifer Rosenbaum? She is awesome. She's actually written a book also. She's in the Long Island community and actually is she's a photographer that actually takes pictures of women, talking about empowering each other, takes pictures of women who are in various stages of overcoming breast cancer to help them feel beautiful again. She definitely would be someone that you should chat with because she's an amazing soul and she's got 2 kids. Just a really great person. She actually has a podcast too, but she's a great person to connect with.
Thank you so much. I just wrote it down. I will. May I name drop?
Sure, go for it. Name drop away.
Thank you so much. I have to say, I just love being here. I really do. I feel like this is what I am meant to do. As you said, that Stephanie, that's what you were meant to do these things. And my calling in life is just to encourage people to go for it, and women with breast cancer to know that, you know, it isn't the end. That's very important to me. It's very important to me. I finished up my treatments in July.
Well, congratulations.
God bless. God bless. You know, Helen, I was reading some of the things getting ready for the show today, and there's a quote there I want to share with our viewers. Helping other people find their true calling is a gift, and to know the joy that I helped change someone's life for their greater good, it doesn't get any better than that. I mean, that says it all about you and the work that you do.
It is so humbling when people have come up to me and tell me that I'm gonna get weepy. I'm a crier, but it's very humbling and gratifying when people come up to me and say that I helped them to change their life. I've helped people to move out of state, get divorced, go for IVF. It's very humbling, and you know, a lot of people do this for the money. I don't do it for the money. I do it for the love of it, and it really is a joy. It really is a joy.
That is well said and a beautiful thing. So 2022 just started. What's your goals for 2022?
Goals for 2022: stay healthy, number one. Continue to work out. Finish my book. I'm writing a book, and I have all these bits and pieces of paper all over the place when I get an inspiration or an idea. But seriously, to speak more and talk more as a motivational speaker about being able to overcome the odds and have a good life. But also, I say motivational speaker, but we kind of put a slash through that, because I want to be an inspirational speaker. Because a motivational speaker, anybody can motivate you. Your best friend can motivate you. But if I can inspire somebody to think a different way, not change, but consider thinking a different way, that's really important to me. One of my proudest things lately is because I have talked about breast cancer. I don't mean to keep bringing this up. It's just still very new with me. That I've gotten women to go for mammograms that hadn't gone in 10 years. And it really, you know, when they're talking to me about it and they say, yes, I haven't gone for this, haven't done, you know, I have to just do one of these, say, okay, all right, well, promise me you're going to go. And I have gotten women to go for that. And that to me is, bar none, an amazing thing. Wow. So my goal is just to get the word out there. That's what I want to do.
I mean, you humbly brought up the word inspire, but just sitting here listening to what you do is inspiring to me. And I can't speak for Stephanie, but I'm sure she feels the same way. It kind of, you know, sometimes there are difficult moments personally and professionally that we all face, but sometimes it's very important to hear other people that are doing the same kind of things. And without saying it, or by saying it like you just did, we could support one another to continue to inspire. And I'm always humbled by other people's journey and their road to get where they're at. And Helen, I mean, you could have chalked it up, you know, and said, you know what, I did my part. I got to focus in on myself. But you're focusing on yourself, but you're also helping other women, other people out there that are greatly suffering or challenged with adversities.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. I think that's why Stephanie and I do this show, because, I mean, we've had week after week, we have amazing people. And I think that's why Christina matched us up. And I think, Stephanie, just hearing Helen's story is inspiring, and it just motivates me even more to do the work out there. I don't think I'll ever get to the point where I'm satisfied with everything that I do, because you keep striving for more and more and more. And as you can see, there's so many people that are hurting out there that we need to continue to do that.
We get to meet so many wonderful people by, you know, kicking healthy relationships to the curb is really anything. You know, most of the time we think kicking it to the curb is kicking out someone or, you know, something else. It's really our mindset. the biggest unhealthy relationship we have is with ourselves. So when we can start actually having that inner voice that's saying nice things to us, I gave this example with my clients the other day. My 3-year-old, I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old. My 3-year-old daughter, we were playing soccer. Well, we're kicking the ball in the backyard. And I was noticing that she was talking before she was kicking the ball. So I kind of leaned in to see what she was saying. And she goes, you are doing the best you can. She's like, you got this. And so everything she was saying was like motivating her. And then she'd go, grrr, and she'd kick the ball as hard as she could in this, like in the net. And I was laughing at just how that inner voice was out loud for her, reminding herself that she got it. She can do this. And then she was doing it later in the day too. And it really made me think how great it would be if we all had that little voice inside of us, that little childlike voice inside of us saying, you got this, you can do it, and if we can be that for other people, now I'm going to get teary, Helen, if we can be that for other people, especially those who might not have that positive inner voice, then it makes everything worthwhile.
Perfectly said.
Yeah. See, Stephanie usually has the last word, and I'm left speechless because I can't top what she says. I try every week, but I just can't do it.
You can though, Steve. You can.
I can do it, right? I can do it. So I know I can. No, I could do this, right?
You're doing great.
Oh, okay. Thank you. But anyway, Helen, we got to go. But this is just an icebreaker. I mean, we just met each other 10 minutes ago, and here you are, part of the network. How can people get a hold of you?
My website, www.helencernigliaro.com. Yes, it's a mouthful, I know. I also run a meetup group, Law of Attraction Long Island, on meetup.com. So if people wanted to get in touch with me that way, they could do that as well. So
well, you certainly say your last name way better than I did, so I apologize for that.
You should be able. It sounds like you should be able to say it, Steve.
I know it's two Paisan, it's an Italian name, right?
Yeah, wait a minute. Yeah, seriously.
I know.
It should have been natural for him.
I know. It's been a long day. I took my little nephew to the movies. We saw Sing 2, and I was totally enthralled by this movie. There's Adrian watching the movie, his first movie, he's eating popcorn and talk about, there we are right in front of there. But Helen, thank you so very much for joining us. And I know we'll be seeing each other real soon.
Stephanie, thank you so much. A pleasure meeting you. I hope to meet you in person. And Steve as well. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. There's Helen. Great guest. And she came through at the last minute, Steph.
That's wonderful. People might not realize behind the scenes, but we do a lot of hard work to find some really amazing guests here. And of course, since we are in a pandemic, there's sometimes people aren't feeling so well, or people have some things going on at home. So it's really great to be able to have such a great network, a wide network of so many wonderful people that we know that can come on the show and fill in at the last minute like we had today. Helen was great and she's doing great work, and so happy that you were able to get her on.
That's great. And you talk about great work on the network. We have two hosts that are going to join us for a few moments to talk about their show, Danny Benson and Ashley Blum. There's Danny. Awesome show. Right after this show, you got to check out her show, I'm Proud of You, Sis. And Ashley Blum does a show called Teen Talk, and that'll be live on the network tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I think Ashley and Danny are there.
Hi guys.
Hi. How are you?
Steph. Hi Ashley. Hi Steve.
Hi Danny. How are you guys?
How you guys doing? The gang is all here. We're all here. This is great.
I'm very excited.
This is great.
You know what, Steph? I agree with what you're saying. I try to get my daughters.
Did you just see my mom?
Yeah, she just shut the door on us. I don't know.
I try to give my daughters affirmations every day when I'm doing their hair in the mirror. Like you're the best. You're great. You're beautiful. You can do it. So they come back home and they recite it. So hopefully, like, I keep doing it and it's instilled in them. So when they're going through something like a hard time, hopefully they can hear my voice. And I also tell them to repeat it to themselves too.
Yep. That's my hope. I hope that, that piece of, if I'm doing something right, if I can get her to get that positive inner voice, then she can move mountains.
Wow.
Definitely. Definitely.
Danny and Ashley are wonderful, wonderful people. So we're gonna play a little game here. Danny, you say something nice about Ashley, and Ashley, you say something nice about Danny. Danny, you go first.
Oh my God, Ashley is like the amazing. She's an amazing singer. Oh wow, like I love to watch her sing and see her sing. Oh, she has a beautiful heart of gold. Like anyone in this world that is able to touch her, it's just an experience of a lifetime. So she's an amazing human being, and I'm proud of her, sis. I'm proud of you.
Wow. All right, Ashley, your turn. You're up now, Ash.
Well, I mean, Danny's a beacon of light for real. She is such a beautiful person inside and out. I love how positive and energetic she is. Whenever we have an event, she is always there bringing the happiness and the kind words to everybody. She's so supportive of everyone in the network, and she does an amazing job on her show empowering women and men too, everybody. I really think that she does a great job of showing that we are capable of whatever we put our minds to. And I love how much you love your children and how much you care about helping the community. I think it's really beautiful.
And I pray that my relationship, like you and your mom, Gina, is just as strong as my relationship with my girls, because I watch you guys and I just pray that my kids are going to still like me when they're your age, Ashley. I hope, right?
I mean, she's my rock, my mom. She's my everything. We went through a lot together, so we're definitely very close.
So real quick, Ashley, what do you got coming for us on your show tomorrow night?
Well, tomorrow we have two lovely young people who are actually both in 8th grade. So they're at the age where I really started getting serious about advocacy and theater and everything. So we have Jack Sullivan and his friend Holland Boder, who are both major theater kids. And I'm very, very excited to be talking to them about all things musical theater. But more importantly, Jack actually wrote his own show, his own musical, which is actually being performed in February. So we're going to talk about that. And also he's a proud member of the LGBTQ plus community. And we're going to be talking about that in regards to theater. And Holland is such a sweetheart. We're going to get her perspective on working with Jack and being a part of that production and what theater means to her. So I'm very, very excited for it. Right in my element with the theater kids.
I can't wait.
I can't wait to tune in, Ash. I can't wait
I know.
to tune in.
And Danny, in 5 minutes, you're going to do your show. What do we got coming on?
I have Monica Morris, and we're going to talk about 10 tips to strengthen your self-esteem. You know, we're coming around that time that the weather is about to break. I know it's January, but it's almost coming. March is coming. Spring's coming. So we're just talking about ways to improve your self-esteem holistically, where you can manage to do this all the time and not just like a fad. So I'm excited to have Monica Morris on next on I'm Proud of You, Sis.
Wow. Stephanie, we could just hang tight. Listen to these ladies talk all day.
Heck yeah. Well, and anybody else who's enjoying the conversation with them should definitely tune into their show. Stick around right after this for Danny and come back tomorrow and listen to Ashley. We've got some great talent on this network, and we'd love for you to be able to be a part of all the great things that we're sharing here.
That's right, ladies. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steph. Thank you.
We were so
love
blessed.
your show.
We were so blessed to have everybody here, and we love you very much. God bless. Stephanie, have a great week.
You too. Bye, everybody.
Bye.